Hi, I'm Brad Kemp from ContainerGardeningForYou.com. Today we'll be discussing and showing the construction of a raised bed garden, one that can be used for flowers and/or vegetables. If you've been wishing that you could get your plants in the ground sooner in the spring, or wondering a way that you could prolong the growing season through the fall, then a raised bed garden is definitely for you. Raised bed soil will warm faster in the spring, so you can plant earlier than most people, and with a covering in the fall, you can keep vegetable gardening throughout the year for a longer period of time. As far as construction, let's keep in mind that a raised bed can be of any height and of any shape, so your imagination is literally the only limit. However, you do want your raised bed to be a minimum height of around 6 inches. You can construct the bed out of numerous materials, a lot of which can be reclaimed materials that you could find for free or a fraction of the cost of buying them new. Those materials can be anything from landscape bricks, concrete blocks, stone, landscape edging, railroad ties, landscape timbers, or basic lumber. Basic lumber is the basis for our tutorial today. A valuable step that you can take is to sketch out your plan. A simple drawing will do. A more detailed plan would be very beneficial. Both will be very beneficial for measurements, shape, and placement of the raised bed in your garden. If you would like to view this raised bed plan as a larger image, just go to our website, ContainerGardeningForYou.com. The first thing on our list is to find the proper placement of your raised bed. Most flowers, most vegetables will require around 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. So if that's your case, just find a spot in your yard that will get close to that amount of light. On the opposite end of the spectrum, if you're planting things that need more shade, try to find a spot that would be better fit for those flowers or vegetables' shade needs. Finding a relatively flat area would be beneficial. However, a minimal amount of leveling can be done by just simply digging out the sod. This could be a very back-breaking chore, so again, finding a close to level spot would be your best bet. The next step is to outline the bed that you want, both the length, the width, and the shape. Again, any shape you want can be achieved, so now is the time to think outside of the box. Using stakes and string for this is an easy way to accomplish making an outline. Just drive the stakes in the ground, wrap the string around the stakes, and then make your outline. Once you have your outline marked, you can go on to the next step, which is removing the top layer of sod. Removing the top layer of sod is not mandatory, but removing the sod will allow the roots of the flowers or vegetables to grow through the earth easier than if the sod was left. If you choose not to remove the sod, try something that I've done before and really had great results. You can lay down a layer of thin cardboard or several layers of newspaper. Landscape fabric can also be used. If you use cardboard or newspaper, give it a good soaking. These materials, which are biodegradable, will smother the grass and keep weeds from growing through your raised bed. It's a very good method. Next on the agenda is assembling your pre-cut pieces of lumber. One topic is what type of lumber, untreated lumber or pressure-treated lumber. Untreated lumber is usually the preference. The big reason why is pressure-treated lumber, which is what most decks and patios are built from, is treated with a chemical called chromated copper arsenate, and they're afraid that that chemical will make its way into the soil. I'll say this, I've done enough research on pressure-treated lumber that I feel comfortable using it for raised beds, because the chemical that they use to treat that lumber will not leach back out into the soil. It's sealed inside of the lumber. But when all's said and done, you can make a decision that you feel comfortable with. One thing that I would not do is use railroad ties or landscaping beams that are treated with creosote. Creosote will leach back into the soil, and if it leaches into the soil, that means it's going to make it into the vegetables that you bring to your dinner table. Moving on, Determine the measurements needed to achieve your length and the width of the bed, and then cut your boards accordingly. Putting them together, there's a couple of ways that you can go about doing this. As you can see in the photo, if you use at least 3-inch or longer exterior wood screws, you can just simply butt up the ends of the boards and then screw them into each other. With that method, sturdiness will be somewhat average, so if you want a little more secureness in the structure, a 4-inch by 4-inch corner block can be cut to fit and then used in all 4 or however many corners you have. You want to cut the blocks the same length as what the height of your bed is going to be. For example, if you have a 10-inch high raised bed, just cut the blocks to be 10 inches in length. You can then screw the sideboards of the bed into the 4x4 corner block. For extra strength, you can then screw the boards into one another through the ends. As you lay the structure in place, keep checking for level. If level is off by quite a bit, simply add some soil underneath the sideboards to raise the end that will bring the bed into a level state. Exact level is by no means necessary, but if it's out of level too much, it's not only going to look unsightly, but it can cause water to drain and pool into one area of the bed. After that, the bed is ready for soil. Soil from the same place can be used, with plenty of amendments. However, if money will allow, good potting soil or purchasing compost or manure would be optimal. A lot of that type of stuff you can find for free as well. The size of the bed will determine the amount of soil needed. But do fill the bed to the very top. As you can see in the picture, with rain and weather, etc., the soil will settle to a few inches below the top of the bed over time. After that, plant your flowers, plant your vegetables, and before long you'll be enjoying a beautiful raised bed garden that you should be able to have for years. It'll be a beautiful addition to any home and garden. Remember that if this is your first time building a raised bed, take your time and go slow. Just keep in mind that a raised bed is merely a box with soil in it. You really can't mess that up. But do take your time. Cutting the materials is a good example. Nice straight cuts will prove to be an asset when it comes time to put the pieces together. If you need more help or more information, go to our website, www.containergardeningforyou.com. If you can't find what you need there, contact me through our Contact Us form, and I'll be more than happy to help you with any need you have. This is Brad Kemp on behalf of ContainerGardeningForYou.com. Thanks for watching.